Hello students, welcome back. Today we start with the next topic, that is different types of agricultural pest. Now from various agricultural pests we study few like the Jawar stem borer. So from these are the certain main or major pests which are actually affect on the agriculture of India, and since we call them as agricultural pest. So here first we start with the Jawar stem borer. So the Jawar stem borer actually, so if you just observe this diagram, this is the moth which is present, adult moth is there which is present in front of you. If you consider the Jawar stem borer and if you classify the pest, it is from class Insecta, then order Lepidoptera, family Pyralidae, genus Chilo, and species Zonellus. So the Chilozonellus is the scientific name of Jawar stem borer. As it is from the order Lepidoptera, so the Lepidoptera means what? The adults, they look like the diagram which we observed in the previous slide. Though they look like the butterflies, but they are not butterflies, they are the moths. So here the classification of Jawar stem borer is in front of you. Actually, Jawar, which is act as the main food crop of Maharashtra, and it supply very good fodder to the cattle also. Means the Jawar is useful to human being as well as the cattle. It is cultivated particularly in Kharif, as well as it is cultivated in Rabi and in hot weather also. And the Jawar stem borer, which is one of the major pest of the Jawar plant. This pest, which is generally observed in the early growth of crop, and even it is observed after the formation of ear head. So what is ear head? बघा आपण इथे ज्वारी हे पीक बघतोय. ओके, मग ज्वारीचं जे पीक असतं त्या ज्वारीच्या पिकासाठी आपण जसं म्हणतो ना कणीस, तर ते कणीस जे असतं त्या कणसाला आपण इयर हेड असं म्हणतो. हिअर द Jawar stem borer which attack in earlier stages of development of the Jawar plant, as well as they are specifically attack on the Jawar plant even after the formation of the ear head. Means in the early and in the late stage of the development of Jawar plant is become infective by the Jawar stem borer. Okay, so it is distributed, that particular pest distributed throughout the India, and the Jawar stem borer is commonly known as spotted stalk borer, or there is one more name, we called it as the pink borer. Here if you just observe the identification mark, um, see here, this is the adult moth. Actually it is medium sized, and if we observe the wingspan, okay, what is wingspan? First we just consider few of the terminologies. For example, wingspan. Here the wingspan means the distance between these two lines. This is the first line, this is the second line. Whatever the distance is there, means if we spread the wings of the insects and if we measure the distance in between, this distance is known as wingspan. So the wingspan is 3 centimeter. So the Class Insecta, we already studied that the Jawar stem borer is from class Insecta. The class Insecta having one characteristic feature, that is their two pairs of wings are present, forewings and hindwings. So here you can observe this is the forewing and this is the hindwing. So the two pairs of wings are there. The front or first pair of wing, which is larger, and actually that is known as the forewing. See these forewings which are straw color or they are light brown in color, and these forewings they also possesses the numerous shining brown spots on the margin. Okay, you can observe the spots, brown color spots here. Okay, and the forewings, actually the forewings they are comparatively white in a color. Okay, so this is about the description of adult moth. So the brown colored forewings and the white colored or straw colored hindwings, which are white and peppery in a structure. So these are the identification mark. Okay, so this is about the adult. Now the caterpillar or the larva of this moth, they are white in a color with a dark brown head, and the head of the caterpillar which bears a specific type of mouth part, we call them as the mandibulate type of mouth part. See the mandibulate type of mouth parts which are helpful for the process of biting and chewing. Okay. So here the caterpillar means the larva with many legs. So those caterpillar with the mandibular type of mouth parts, they are actually observed here and they are dirty white in a color. Many dark spots, they are also appeared on the body of this caterpillar. Matured caterpillar, they are about 12 to 20 mm in a length, means 2 centimeter in a length, and they shows the four broad and patchy strip on their body. So this is the identification mark of the uh, Java stem borer at the caterpillar or the larval stage. So we can identify the adult as well as the caterpillar. Okay. Now we study the next, that is the host plant. See here the Jawar stem borer, this is the pest of Jawar, and it is not act as the pest of Jawar only, but it is also act as the pest of maize, and it attack on bajra, ragi and other grasses also. So not only the Jawar but remaining other plants are also act as the host plant. Host plant means what? The plants which provide the food material to the pest. ओके, दोज प्लांट्स दे आर नोन एज अ होस्ट प्लांट. मग होस्ट प्लांटचा अर्थ मराठीमध्ये असा होतो की असे प्लांट्स जे त्या पेस्टला अन्न पुरवतात. मग प्रत्येक इन्सेक्ट असतो तो काही सगळ्या प्लांट्सला खात नाही. स्पेसिफिक प्लांट खाणारे स्पेसिफिक इन्सेक्ट असतात. जसं आपल्याकडे बघा ह्युमन बिंग्समध्ये पण किंवा माणसामध्ये पण काही लोक फक्त व्हेजिटेबल्स म्हणजे व्हेजिटेरियन असतात, तर काही लोक व्हेज पण खातात म्हणजे व्हेजिटेबल्स पण खातात आणि नॉन व्हेजिटेरियन फूड पण खातात. मग ते काही असे ग्रुप्स असतात की जे फक्त आणि फक्त व्हेजिटेबल खातात. तसं इथे आहे की प्रत्येक जो काही इन्सेक्ट असतो तो प्रत्येक प्रकारचे प्लांट खात नाही. एक इन्सेक्ट घेतला तर तो स्पेसिफिकच काही ठराविकच प्लांट्स खातो किंवा कधी कधी तर एकच प्लांट खातो, म्हणजे तो स्पेसिफिक असतो. ओके, ते जाऊ द्यात. पण आता तुम्हाला लक्षात काय ठेवायचं आहे, होस्ट प्लांट म्हणजे काय? असे प्लांट की जे ह्या पेस्टला फूड प्रोव्हाइड करतात त्यांना आपण म्हणतो होस्ट प्लांट. ओके, so the next concept, that is a life cycle. See already we studied that. Here see in this diagram you can clearly observe the characteristic feature of adult. Okay, now here these are the brown colored forewings. Forewings and sorry, see these are the brown color forewings and peppery white hind wings are there. Okay, if we consider that This is the female moth. Okay, suppose this is the female moth. The female laid eggs. Okay, she laid the eggs. Now here what happened, see, the female laid about 50 to 300 eggs in a cluster, and they are arranged in a two rows under the surface of leaves. मग जे पण काही बाजरी ज्वारी हे जे पानं असतात ह्या झाडाचे, प्रत्येकाने पाहिलेले आहेत ते पानं कसे असतात, पॅरलल लीफ टाईप स्ट्रक्चर असतं. त्या पानाच्या खालच्या सरफेसला ह्या फिमेल मॉथ एग्ज लेड करतात आणि ते क्लस्टर बंचेसमध्ये असतात. Eggs are creamy white in a color and they hatched into young caterpillar in 6 days of incubation. बघा, after 6 days of incubation, the egg hatched into the next stage, and that stage is known as larva. Actually, this is the large one. When the eggs hatched, very tiny larvas, they are hatched out. Tiny, smaller. Now, these tiny or young caterpillar, they feeds on the tender leaves for a single day or 2 day, and then they bore into the central shoot. बघा, तुम्ही जर इथे बघितलं तर इथे एक छोटंसं इथे ह्या साईडला ह्या कोपऱ्यामध्ये त्या पानाला होल केलेलं आहे. ह्या लार्वाने काय केलं, कॅटरपिलरने काय केलं, हे खाल्लं आहे, इथे हे पान एवढं खाल्लं आहे. आणि तुम्ही जर ऑब्झर्व केलं तर हे जे काही मिडरीब आहे बघा, इथे ही मिडरीब आहे, त्या मिडरीब मधून ते आतमध्ये एंट्री करणार आहे. ओके, मग इथे काय होणार आहे, द यंग कॅटरपिलर दे फीड्स ऑन द टेंडर लीव्स अँड देन दे एंटर्ड इन टू द सेंट्रल शूट. मग आता हे पानं जिथे अटॅच झालेले असतात सेंट्रल शूटला, तिथे ते एंट्री करणार आहे. सो द लार्वल स्टेज इज लास्ट अबाउट 3 to 4 weeks. Now the larva which shows particularly 5 molds. 5 molds means what? The first instar larva is there, second instar larva is there, third, fourth instar larva, and finally the larva enters into 5th stage. So this is the fully grown larva. So first stage larva is very smaller. Egg when hatched, they develop into the first stage larva. It will grow into second instar grow into third grows into fourth grows into fifth, means it is the larger one. So these larger larvae entered into the shoot. So whole the process just from hatching to the 5th instar, so all these process required 3 to 4 weeks, and since we called it as the larval lifespan, so these all stages, first to 5th instar larva, for the growth of the 5th instar larva, matured larva, 3 to 4 weeks are required. Now this 5th instar larva which is matured now entered into the next stage. This is known as the third stage, which we call it as the pupa. So pupation takes place inside the stem. See, this is the shoot. Okay, so inside that shoot, the larva, they undergo the process of pupation. Here we are observing the two pupas, they are lying near to each other. Okay, so here the pupation which lasts for 7 to 10 days. Now after that, the pupa, they develop into the adult, either it is male or female. So for that purpose, the adult specifically, they lived for 3 to 4 days. They remain alive for 3 to 4 days. Then the process of copulation takes place, and after that the process of copulation, the female laid eggs. Okay, so the cycle remain continuous. Okay, so again the female laid eggs. After that, eggs developed into larva developed into pupa, and then again pupa developed themselves into the adult. So this is known as the life cycle. So the same procedure cycle repeats. Okay, and since we called it as the life cycle. Okay, next to that, see here the nature of damage. Now here we study the process of nature of damage. See, the larva, newly hatched caterpillar, particularly they feeds on the leaves, and they causing the formation of the small holes are observed on the leaf lamina, and they attack all the parts of jawar plant except the roots. Means they are able to attack on ear hole, ear head, leaf, as well as the stem also. Okay, so this is about the uh, attack of the caterpillar or the larva on different types of the plant part of the jawar plant. Okay, except root, the caterpillar is able to feed on the different types of the larva, sorry, different types of the plant part. Now, after the formation of the holes on the leaf lamina, then they just entering into the leaf, or they may form the roll and they cut the leaves, and the shoot, they enter into the shoot and they forms the longitudinal streak. Okay. Now, at the growing point, it is cut, which results in the drying of the central shoot, and subsequently there is a formation of dead heart takes place. See here, slowly and slowly, when the larvas they attack on the specific type of the leaf lamina, they entered into the shoot, and when the larva entered into the shoot, actually these larva they produces a hole. If you carefully observe here in this shoot, okay, here the shoot is there, in this shoot they produces a hole or a gap. They eat that particular tissue, eat those tissues which are present here in the shoot, and they produces a hollow tunnel like structure, and that is known as a dead heart. And due to the formation of the tunnel, actually it is responsible for disturbing whole process of tissue, that is xylem and phloem. And we know that xylem and phloem, these are the main part of the shoot, as the xylem is responsible for conducting the water and phloem is responsible for conducting the food material. And as both the xylem and phloem get disturbed, the plant, it directly affects on the growth of the plant, and due to the formation of dead heart, means that particular tunnel, the growth of the plant is get affected. Okay, so the larva, which after entering into the stem, they feed on the tissues and they form the galleries, since we call, or the tunnels, and we call it as a formation of dead heart. So this is the nature of damage, how the caterpillar specifically, means the larva which feeds on the tissue. Eggs are not damaging the plant. Then the pupa is the resting stage which never feeds on the plant material, and adults they are also not causing any damage. So which is the stage that is responsible for causing the damage to the host plant like jawar, ragi, then bajra? So that is the caterpillar, means the larva. Okay, so this is about the nature of damage. Next to that, we study the control measures. So here there are many methods of control measures. So for example, these are the three methods: cultural method, chemical method, and the biological method. So these three methods are important one. In cultural method, we are just without using any chemical or without using any biological agent, when we are going to control the pest, we call that particular method as a cultural method. So in case of the cultural method, the hand picking is important. So whenever we observe the larva, or whenever we observe the adult moth, we are going to pick them with the help of hand. Either we pick the larva or the caterpillar with our hands, or we are just crushing the eggs if we observe them. Then use of the light trap for capturing the adult moth, that is also one of the best method. Then collection of their eggs, and after collecting the eggs we are going to destroy them. So these are the three different methods for the three different stages. So we are just picking up the larva, we are just collecting the egg and destroy them, and we are just collecting the adult moth with the help of the light trapping. सो लाईट ट्रॅपिंग बघा, एक जनरल जर तुम्ही ऑब्झर्वेशन केलं तर हिवाळ्यामध्ये किंवा हिवाळ्यामध्ये संध्याकाळच्या वेळेला, ज्या वेळेला तुमचं जर शेतात घर असेल, बाहेर जर लाईट लावलं तुम्ही, तर त्या लाईटकडे पाकोळ्या अट्रॅक्ट होतात, जे फुलपाखरासारख्या दिसतात. मग त्या पाकोळ्या म्हणजेच मॉथ असतात. मग हे मॉथ जे असतात ते ह्या लाईटकडे अट्रॅक्ट होतात. मग हे त्यांचं नेचर आहे, लाईटकडे अट्रॅक्ट होणं. जिकडे उजेड दिसतो ते तिकडे अट्रॅक्ट होतात. मग अशा वेळेला आपण काय करणार आहे, त्यांच्या ह्या नेचरचा यूज करणार आहे, आपण त्यांना ट्रॅप करणार आहे. ओके, ट्रॅप करणार म्हणजे काय, आपण त्यांना पकडणार. मग असे आपण स्पेसिफिक लाईट ट्रॅप प्रोड्यूस करतो. ओके, मग लाईट ट्रॅपने आपण हे अडल्ट मॉथचं कलेक्शन करतो आणि त्यांना आपण किल करतो नंतर. ओके, सो दिस इज द फर्स्ट मेथड. Then the next one is that the burning of stubble and the trash, which actually harbors the borers and act as a source of infestation for the next crop. So burning of stubbles means and trash means what? Actually we are going to burn everything. आपल्याकडे पण बघा की काही ठराविक पिकं काढले की ते उरलेलं जे पण काही गवत असतं तर काही ठिकाणी ते साठवून ठेवतात. कशासाठी? एक चारा म्हणून, गाईगुरांना चारा म्हणून साठवून ठेवतात. पण ॲक्च्युली ज्या वेळेला आपण ते साठवतो त्यावेळेला पॉसिबिलिटी अशी असते की हे लार्व्हल स्टेजमध्ये ते पेस्ट असेल किंवा प्युपेशन स्टेजमध्ये असू शकतं, की ज्याची नंतर ते पुढच्या थोड्या दिवसात डेव्हलपमेंट होऊन त्याचे ॲडल्ट तयार होतील. आणि जरी आपण ते पीक काढलेलं असेल तरी अल्टरनेटिव्ह होस्ट प्लांट जर तेवढ्या एरियात अवेलेबल असेल तर ते त्या अल्टरनेटिव्ह होस्ट प्लांटवर परत त्यांची लाईफ सायकल स्टार्ट करतात. मग असं होऊ नये म्हणून आपण काय करतो, जेव्हा पीक काढतो म्हणजे कणसं काढून घेतो त्यावेळेला उरलेला जो पार्ट असतो त्याला आपण म्हणतो ट्रॅश. मग हे जे काही ट्रॅश क्रॉप किंवा स्टबल असणार आहे ते आपल्याला जाळून टाकायचं आहे, की जेणेकरून नेक्स्ट जनरेशन जे क्रॉपचं आपण परत घेणार आहोत त्यावेळेला कमीत कमी नंबर्समध्ये हे पेस्ट तिथे तुमच्या आजूबाजूला शेताच्या प्रेझेंट असतील. ओके, सो दिस इज द सेकंड मेथड, कल्चरल मेथड. देन चेंजिंग द सोईंग अँड हार्वेस्टिंग टायमिंग, दॅट इज ऑल्सो गुड टू रिड्यूस द इन्फेस्टेशन. Actual sowing period, we are going to change the sowing period and the harvesting period also, because as we delay the sowing, obviously the harvesting also delayed. If we earlier we saw the seeds, earlier we get the final product. Okay, so it depends. But when we are going to change the sowing and harvesting timing, actually it reduces the infestation, because see, in the nature both the things run parallel, the life cycle of the host plant and the life cycle of the pest, both the things they run parallel. ज्या वेळेला आपण होस्ट प्लांट लावतोय, कारण इथे आपण ॲग्रिकल्चर क्रॉप बघतोय म्हणून आपण प्लांट लावतो असं म्हटलंय मी. मग ज्यावेळेला आपण हे क्रॉप प्लांट लावत असतो सायमल्टेनियसली त्याच पिरियडमध्ये नेचरमध्ये सुद्धा ह्या पेस्टची डेव्हलपमेंट सुरुवात होते. जसं जसं झाड मोठं मोठं होत जातं त्या एग्स किंवा जे काही पेस्ट असतात तर त्यांच्या पण पुढच्या स्टेजेस डेव्हलप होत जातात. बघा, एका पर्टिक्युलर झाड वाढलं की त्या झाडाच्या पर्टिक्युलर स्टेजला हे फिमेल पेस्ट जे असतात ते एग लेड करणार आहेत आणि तिथून पुढे मग त्यांची ती लाईफ सायकल, एग, लार्वा, प्युपा, ॲडल्ट, जर ती कम्प्लीट लाईफ सायकल असेल तर. अदरवाईज एग, निम्फ आणि ॲडल्ट हे स्टेजेस ते पॅरलल चालतात. म्हणजे क्रॉप प्लांट आणि पेस्ट यांचे दोन्ही जे असतात त्यांचे पॅरलल चालू असतात लाईफ सायकल. ओके, मग आपण हेच चेंज करणार आहे. क्रॉप रोटेशन, दॅट इज अनदर प्रॅक्टिस. देन ग्रोईंग रेझिस्टंट व्हरायटी ऑफ द जवार like the CHS7, CHS8, Indian sorghum type, that is IS 5566, then 5285 and 5613. These are the different types of the growing resistant varieties are there. We can use those also. And the resistant varieties means what? They are able to resist the attack of the pest. Okay, so these are certain cultural method. Now next to that, the chemical method. In case of chemical method, we are using the different types of chemicals for controlling the insect pest. Here we can use the linden, 0.05% linden, or we may use the 0.1% endosulfan for the plant which is 15 days old, and this is very effective. and this is the first round. In the second application, we are using 1% linden and 4% endosulfan, and in the third application we are using the 0.2% carbaryl spray. So if we are spraying the different types of the insecticide in a particular concentration at a particular developing stage of the plant, it is become very effective to control the pest. Now, if the crop infestation is noticed earlier, if we dust the 10% BHC at the rate of 25 kg BHC powder per hectare, this is become very effective. Or we may use the aldrin or dieldrin in 200 liter of the water. So these are the different types of the chemicals or the insecticides we are used to control the pest like the Jawar stem borer. Then there is one more method, we call it as a biological method. In this method, we are not either using the chemical or we are not using the cultural methods like hand picking, burning, or changing the sowing and harvesting period. Okay, no, nothing. But instead of that, we are using the another animals who feeds on the Jawar stem borer or the another animals who are responsible for causing the diseases in the Jawar stem borer. So we are just selecting that. We are observing and we are selecting those animals. For example, the Hymenopteran is there, Trichogramma minutum, which is act as the egg parasite. Means this Trichogramma minutum which feeds on the eggs of Jawar stem borer. बघा प्रत्येक जण दुसऱ्या कोणाचा तरी भक्ष्य असतो. मग आपल्याला तेच शोधायचं इथे की ह्या जवार स्टेम बोररला कोण खातं. मग ट्रायकोग्रामा मायन्युटम नावाचा एक हायमेनोप्टेरा म्हणजे जशी आपली मधमाशी भुंगा वगैरे असतो त्या टाईपचा एक हा इन्सेक्ट आहे. तो काय खातो तर ह्या जवार स्टेम बोररचे एग्स खातो. नेक्स्ट एक्झाम्पल इज दॅट Apentillus flavipus and the Bracon brevicornis. These two they are act as the larval parasite. बघा पहिला होता एक parasite, हे आहे larval parasite. The lady beetle is there, coccinella and the Menochilus. So these are actually feeds directly on the um, eggs and the larva. Then sex maculata, which have been recorded predating on early stages of the larva of this pest. Means again this is act as the larval. Uh, so it feeds on the larva of Jawar stem borer. Okay, so all this is about the control measures. Means how we are going to control the Jawar stem borer. Either we may use the cultural method or we may use the chemical method or we may use the biological method. So these are the different methods which are used to control the pest. We call it as the Jawar stem borer. Okay. These are the certain references from where I got the diagrams. Okay. Thank you.